try to find the sunny side of life.
Hi, I'm Harry Marks, and this is Let's All Go to the Lobby, your introduction to the film you're about to watch. Up next is William Wyler's 1959 religious epic about one man's fight against the powers that be, and his serendipitous run-in with one very important man. This is Ben-Hur from MGM. The film is all at once an adaptation of an 1880 novel, an adaptation of a stage play that was created from that novel, and a remake of a 1925 silent film directed by Fred Nibbio. It was also something of a Hail Mary to save the studio. The Consent Decree of 1948, which said studios weren't allowed to own their own theater chains, along with television's rise in popularity, caused MGM to lose a lot of money. The original plan was to start production in 1956, with Marlon Brando in the lead role. Unfortunately, director Sidney Franklin, who had been nominated for an Academy Award for directing 1937's The Good Earth, walked off the project. The studio put Ben-Hur on hold for a few more years. And things didn't improve for MGM either. Rival studio Paramount had found great success in their biblical epic, The Ten Commandments, with Charlton Heston. If they were going to save the studio, this was MGM's last chance. So they turned to the one star they knew could make their film a success, Charlton Heston. Except not at first. Before Heston accepted the role as Judah Ben-Hur, it was offered to a number of other actors. Burt Lancaster turned it down because he thought the script was boring and insulted Christianity. Paul Newman rejected it because, according to him, he didn't have the legs to pull off a tunic. Marlon Brando, as I mentioned before, as well as Rock Hudson, Jeffrey Horn, Kirk Douglas, and even Leslie Nielsen were offered the role. But in the end, it was Heston who would win the part. But the real focus of Ben-Hur isn't its cast, as stellar as it is. What really brought people to the theater was the chariot race, filmed using MGM's Camera 65 process, later renamed to Ultra Panavision. This technique used 65mm negative stock that could be upscaled to 70mm film for roadshow release prints, or scaled down to 35mm for regular theatrical releases. Ultra Panavision also filmed using 1.25x anamorphic lenses to accommodate a wider aspect ratio into a smaller frame. But that's just fancy camera speak for being able to fit a lot more of the action on screen than before. The chariot race itself was held on the largest movie set ever built up until that time. The arena was 5 stories tall and held a track measuring 2,000 feet long by 65 feet wide, and set designers imported 40,000 tons of white sand from Mexico to cover the track surface. 1,500 extras were used during the chariot sequence to fill stadium seats, and almost 80 horses were brought in from Sicily and Yugoslavia. The actors, Charlton Heston and Stephen Boyd, who played Messala, trained for weeks using real horses and real chariots. When you watch the sequence, you're not watching stuntmen for the most part. You're watching Heston and Boyd. This was a big film, with big sets and a big budget, but it all paid off. Ben-Hur won 11 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, and currently holds a 3-way tie with James Cameron's Titanic and Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. And it earned an incredible $147 million at the box office worldwide, saving MGM from financial collapse. Looks like that Hail Mary worked. Starring Charlton Heston, Stephen Boyd, Jack Hawkins, and Haya Harareet, with an incredible score by Miklos Rocha, here's the biggest film of 1959, Ben-Hur.